all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Lovin'. Puppy Lovin' is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
Pope Francis returned to the Vatican on Sunday. It was the most serious health crisis of his 12-year papacy. Shortly before leaving Rome's Gemelli Hospital, he made his first public appearance from a balcony at the facility, while emotional well-wishers cheered from below. A car carrying the pontiff was accompanied by police vehicles through Rome. It made a short detour for him to bring flowers to the Basilica of St. Mary Major, a church to which Francis has a special devotion and visits frequently. Joshua McElwee is Reuters' Vatican correspondent.
The Vatican said he went into the Basilica briefly to pray. He was then brought back toward the Vatican. He has now gone back to the Vatican, to the Casa Santa Marta where he lives. His doctors have said he will require a further 2 months of rest to recuperate and to recover. As he's 88 years old, he has other health conditions, and it will take time for his body to fully heal.
During Pope Francis' appearance, he thanked Carmela Vittoria Mancuso, who arrived every morning during his hospitalisation with yellow flowers. Mancuso, who had prayed for him nightly, expressed her relief.
Contenta, gioiosa.
Happy, joyful. I don't know. My heart was bursting. I didn't think I would feel this way.
Under medical orders of rest, it's unclear how much activity Francis will undertake in the coming months.
American George Foreman, a sporting comeback king, died on Friday at age 76. He reclaimed the heavyweight boxing title at age 45, the oldest to do so, and went on to promote a famous grill. His family announced on Instagram that Foreman died peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Foreman's fight against Muhammad Ali in Kinshasa, Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, went down as one of the most celebrated boxing matches in history. The rumble in the jungle saw Ali defeat the much larger Foreman, knocking him out in the 8th round. The loss devastated Foreman and would see him retire 3 years later in 1977 to become an ordained minister. After a rough childhood growing up in Texas, Foreman used his size and fists and turned to boxing. At age 19, and in his 25th amateur fight, Foreman captured the heavyweight boxing gold medal at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. Turning pro, he won 37 straight matches on his way to face reigning champion Joe Frazier in Jamaica, winning by technical knockout in round 2. In 1987, a decade after his first retirement, and at a considerably heavier 315 pounds, Foreman staged an unlikely return to the ring. He went on to win 24 straight matches and would eventually become the oldest ever heavyweight champion, aged 45. Foreman's last match was in 1997, ending his career with a professional record of 76 wins and 5 losses. Throughout the 1990s and after retirement, he was an enthusiastic pitchman for various products, most notably an electric grill. The company would pay Foreman and his partners $137.5 million to put his name on the grill and other goods.
U.S. stocks finished higher on Friday, ending well off their lows, with the Dow and S&P closing marginally higher, while the Nasdaq added 0.5%. Comments from President Donald Trump gave markets a lift after he said there will be flexibility on tariffs expected to begin in early April, and that his top trade chief plans to speak with his Chinese counterpart next week. Trump also reiterated his plan to use tariffs to narrow the U.S. trade deficit with China. Logan Capital Management portfolio manager Bill Fitzpatrick says in a challenging environment like this, investors have to move away from mega-cap tech stocks that have soared over the past few years.
I think it is fair to say this is a stock picking market, and I think the lesson for investors today is to focus on diversification. Leadership was very narrow the last couple of years, and I think now is a pretty good example of why you maintain diversification, why you're in value stocks, why you're in international equities. That discipline is being rewarded year to date, and we suspect that will continue.
Stocks on the move included FedEx, which slid about 6.5% after the package delivery firm cut its full-year profit and revenue forecasts, citing continued weakness and uncertainty in the U.S. industrial economy. Shares of Nike lost about 5.5% after the sports apparel maker projected a sharper decline in fourth-quarter revenue than analysts had anticipated. And Boeing rose 3% after Trump awarded the plane maker a contract to build the U.S. Air Force's most sophisticated fighter jet, beating out rival Lockheed Martin, shares of which fell nearly 6%.
Well, here we go. A brand new week. Happy Monday as we take a look at your weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania. Cloudy skies and temperatures today in the upper 40s. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour. Cloudy skies early on tonight, then partly cloudy after midnight with lows in the low 30s. Tuesday, mostly cloudy, upper 40s. Wednesday, cloudy. Mid-30s. Thursday, partly cloudy, low 50s. Friday, wrapping up the work and school week with some afternoon rain showers, but things starting to warm up a bit. Temperatures on Friday in the upper 50s. And that graphic on the screen doesn't necessarily reflect some of these changes, but expect a little bit of a warm-up towards the end of the week and 60s into the weekend. And then next week, and when we get into April, we're going to hang out more in the upper 40s, 50s, and 60s. So it's coming. It's coming. I know I've been saying that, but we're getting there. Here this morning, we're looking around 44 degrees around northwest Pennsylvania at 7:15.
Monday morning, you sure look fine. Friday, I got traveling on my mind. First you love me, and then you fade away. I can't go on believing this way. I got nothing but love for you. Tell me what you really want.
All right. Happy Monday, everybody. It is the 24th day of March, and we are just rolling through the month here. This is it. Last full week.
This is the last full week, yeah.
Wow. And then we'll be looking at April 1st. April Fool's Day will be on Tuesday of next week. So a week from tomorrow, we'll be into a brand new month. Yeah, it's been busy. I think everybody's ready for Easter. I feel bad, though. The kids really don't have much of an Easter break with all the school delay, the cancellations this year.
Well, no, you think about it, though, when Easter falls, it's if they did, then they'd be off for prom. Then they'd be out of school within a month.
That's insane. Yeah,
yeah,
the kids...
Easter's later this year, so they have summer break coming up. You don't feel bad. I feel bad, but I don't feel bad. I feel bad because there are some people who maybe planned a trip at that time and now can't take it. Or they are taking it regardless, but still, for our child, I don't feel bad.
Right. Yeah, that's hard to believe. Two more full months of school, and then they're out for the summer.
Yeah.
Man, that's it's been nice. We saw some buses roll out Saturday. I know spring sports they've officially begun. Oh, by the way, there's the live shot of Pittsburgh this morning. Nice way to start the day. I know games are officially underway, so that's exciting. We were heading out Saturday morning, and I think we saw a bus roll out. So one of the teams going somewhere.
I think it rained, last night, right? Did it rain last night? I think it did. It's overnight.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a rain or ice mix. Actually, weather's kind of played havoc with some locations the last day or so, and it looks like it's going to continue into this week. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, though, a little bit of rain and a little bit of cold, but it's not really that bad, to dampen the sports schedule.
We were talking the other day, this is the first year in how many years we don't have a kid playing, we have a kid playing spring sports, but not track.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh my gosh, we're not going to have the invitationals over the weekends to...
Yeah.
We
have other things that can probably put on our schedule, but...
Hey, and I'm sure there'll come a time where we'll go, oh, you know what, kind of miss going to those.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I say, a lot of parents are like, oh, we have a, spring concert or Christmas concert, or I miss those days. Those were,
Okay.
Okay. Our last child, I think the last few years of what he would have had for spring concerts was kind of...
Well, that was
COVID.
Yeah. So he really didn't have any.
Nope.
I was really sad to see the story over the weekend. Just the legend, George Foreman, passed away on the 21st of March. Really sad to see that. I really liked watching George Foreman, not only in the ring, but just outside of the ring, and what he did with his business. And it was great. He will be missed. March Madness rolls on. UConn's reign is done. The Huskies went down. No, they went down with a fight, though. They took on the top-seeded Florida, and a lot of people have Florida pegged to win the national championship, but I don't know. We'll see. Also,
Colorado State was poised to write the story of the tournament's first weekend, a true Cinderella that earned its spot in the Sweet 16 in a clutch, thrilling fashion. So if you're watching any of March Madness, some slight madness taking place. Some fun games to watch, yeah. Let's see what else. How about this headline this morning? We used to argue about this, and then I think I read something that kind of made us just shift gears on how we stored our coffee, and now we don't do this. But there's an article this morning on fridge, freezer, or pantry, the best way to store coffee for maximum freshness. Right?
Right.
I was told by our coffee expert that you don't put coffee in the freezer. They say choose the right storage container. Choose an airtight and opaque container to store coffee beans or grounds. Airtight containers prevent exposure to oxygen, which can lead to flavor loss, while opaque containers contain or protect the coffee from light, which can cause oils to go rancid and diminish freshness. Clear glass or plastic containers may look nice, but they also allow light to degrade the coffee's flavor over time. For the best results, store your coffee in a cool, dark place in a properly sealed container. Store whole beans for freshness. Purchase whole coffee beans and grind them right before brewing for the freshest cup possible. Now, if you don't think that's the case, we do that here, and we've got guests, every day that come in and out, and they're always like, "Wow, this tastes really." Yeah, well, we grind our coffee every morning, and so whole beans retain their freshness longer.
This might tell you, like, we drink maybe too much coffee, but one bag of coffee doesn't last, very long.
Well,
so storage isn't really a concern.
Between guests and other folks who make their way up. Yeah, and visitors. Grinding only what you need right before brewing ensures you get the freshest, most flavorful cup every time. Okay. Keep coffee away from heat and moisture. Heat and moisture are two of coffee's biggest enemies, accelerating the loss of flavor and freshness. Exposure to heat can cause coffee beans to release their natural oils too quickly, leading to a stale and bitter taste. Moisture, on the other hand, can cause clumping, mold growth, and a breakdown of the coffee's delicate compounds. Use a dark pantry or cabinet for storage. Again, heat and moisture are two of the coffee's biggest enemies, so getting them in a place like a pantry is good. To keep coffee fresh, store in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight, stovetops, and appliances that generate heat. Refrain from storing coffee in the fridge or freezer. We used to do this.
We did.
Storing coffee in the fridge might seem like a good idea, but can actually do more harm than good. Coffee is highly porous and absorbs surrounding odors and moistures, which can alter its flavor and make it taste stale. Temperature fluctuations from opening and closing the fridge can also cause condensation, leading to excess moisture that speeds up deterioration. So instead of refrigerating coffee, keep it in an airtight container in a cool, dry place away from heat, light, and humidity. This will help preserve its rich aroma and freshness for much longer. So, and then keep ground coffee in smaller batches. Keeping ground coffee in smaller batches helps maintain its freshness and flavor. They also say invest in a vacuum sealer for long-term storage.
No, we're not going to have that problem.
No, we don't need to do that. We'll drink it. So there you go. There's some tips for you if you're trying to get the most out of your coffee. Hey, listen, all these coffee shops around here, I think people like their coffee. I want to make sure it's the best. So if you want to maximize your coffee even at home. And you know what? We've got people that ask us occasionally, like, I'm trying to get the coffee at home to taste as good as what you guys have. Is it what you from the company you order from? Or, well, sometimes a little bit, but some of it, like some of our favorite is like the 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Getting the whole bean and grinding it. So, yeah, there's some things you can do at home to improve your coffee brewing.
Our coffee expert, the coffee we purchase and some of the roasted coffees that you get on a local level, The difference, I think, is when you go maybe to a big chain and you're looking like at a flavored coffee, it's usually a chemical on there. But with these different, like more locally roasted, you're looking at it being roasted with natural ingredients in it instead of chemicals poured on it. Those are the differences between the two.
All right. Well, today's the 24th day of March.
It is.
Who is celebrating a birthday today?
All right. Actor Robert Carradine is 71. TV personality Star Jones is 63. Actor Jim Parsons is 52.
Really? From Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, like crazy. Actress Allison Hannigan is 51.
She was in How I Met Your Mother, right?
Yeah. Former NFL quarterback and TV personality Peyton Manning, 49.
Peyton Manning. His commercials are great, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the Mannings, they got a good thing going. Like good family brand.
Mm-hmm. Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
Actress Jessica I'm going to say it, Chastain.
Okay.
Did I say it right or wrong?
Go ahead.
48. Go ahead, correct me. Please. That's all I have.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. Happy birthday to them, and happy birthday to you. Today happens to be your birthday from all of us here this morning. Hope it's a great day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What are we celebrating today?
Day of Remembrance for Truth and Justice.
It just dawned on me. Were we supposed to celebrate something with our dog over the weekend?
I think it was Puppy Day.
Puppy. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's not a puppy.
No.
He acts like a puppy.
Yes, he does. Flatmates Day, Independent Accommodation Day, International Day for Achievers, National Adverse Drug Event Awareness Day, National Cheesesteak Day, National Covered Raisin Day, National Cocktail Day, National Each Person is a Person of Worth Day, National Stephanie Day.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. World Tuberculosis Day, Autism Acceptance Week, National Tsunami Awareness Week, and Tick Bite Prevention Week.
Yeah, you got to be careful out there. Listen, it's great that we had a solid winter.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think, this probably killed off a lot of stuff. Well, I was just talking to somebody who went out golfing last week and hit the ball in the woods, went in the woods, came out and covered in ticks. So be careful if you're going out there. I was really hoping it would have, like the solid winter we had, would have, reset some things, but apparently not.
Doesn't happen that way?
No. So just be careful if you're heading out through the woods. You're letting your animals run around. Check them. We've got some great guests lined up here this morning. Neil Fratus will join us from the city of Titusville. Also, finance guru Gary Glunt will join us. We spoke to Gary a couple weeks ago. He was giving us some great tips. I was going to say ticks.
I know,
He's
right?
not giving tips. And I'll tell you, tax day is coming up, on the 15th? It's a Tuesday next month. So we're going to find out. Gary's going to let us know, should you do your taxes on your own or have a professional do it? He's got some thoughts on that. He'll share that with us. Gary's going to join us the second and fourth Mondays of the month. So I look forward to getting some financial tips from Gary. Of course, you should always seek out your professional financial advisor for the latest, but he'll give you a general idea of maybe questions you should be asking. All right, we're coming up on 7:30. We'll bring you the latest headlines here this morning. Also, what's going on in the world of sports and business. It's all heading your way next. This is the Morning Drill.
Ukrainian and U.S. delegations met for talks in Saudi Arabia on Sunday. It's part of a diplomatic push by President Donald Trump to bring an end to Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II. Ukraine's defense minister said they discussed proposals to protect energy facilities and critical infrastructure. And in a Sunday evening address, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky said the day's talks were productive.
Our team is working in a completely constructive manner. The conversation is quite useful. The work of the delegations is continuing.
After speaking with the Ukrainians Sunday night, the U.S. delegation plans to sit down with the Russians on Monday. In an interview with Fox News Sunday, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff was optimistic about that meeting, as well as working with Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war.
I feel that he wants peace. I just don't see that he wants to take all of Europe. This is a much different situation than it was in World War II. In World War II, there was no NATO. So you have countries that are armed there. To me, it just does. I take him at his word in this sense.
The White House says the aim of the current talks is to secure a ceasefire on the Black Sea, allowing the free flow of shipping. Bloomberg News, citing people familiar with the planning, reported on Sunday that the U.S. hopes to reach a broad ceasefire by April 20th. Trump said over the weekend that efforts to stop further escalation in the Ukraine-Russia war were, quote, somewhat under control. Yet despite all the diplomatic activity, Russia and Ukraine have both reported continued strikes. Ukrainian officials said on Sunday that a large-scale Russian drone attack on Kyiv the night before killed at least 3 people, including a 5-year-old child. Meanwhile, Russian authorities said they had shot down dozens of Ukrainian drones targeting the country's southwest, adding that the strikes had killed 1 person in Rostov. Russian forces have also continued to advance slowly in eastern Ukraine, a region Moscow claims to have annexed.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Winter rages on in northwest Pennsylvania, and luckily Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning is only a phone call away when your heating emergency strikes. Whether it's residential or light commercial, new construction, repair, or replacement, Vanderhoof has the experience to get the job done right. Call today to set up an appointment or visit the Vanderhoof website to learn more. At Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning, we look forward to fulfilling all of your HVAC needs and projects now and into the future. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville. ProThreads Print Shop is the area's premier screen printing and embroidery company. Locally owned, ProThreads prides themselves in specializing in school and travel sportswear and fan gear, as well as business and corporate apparel. Get your team mascot or company logo screen printed, embroidered, or engraved on just about anything. ProThreads Print Shop is now open by appointment at 130 East State Street in Pleasantville, where you'll find rocket gear to wear year-round. Check them out on Facebook or visit them at ProThreadsPrintShop.com for superior service with personalized attention. Talk to the pros at ProThreads Print Shop.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Welcome to Inspire Med Spa, the place you know and love for massages, Botox, laser resurfacing, and semi-permanent makeup. Now we're offering even more, including laser hair removal, tattoo removal, and hair rejuvenation. Our team is here to provide expert care in a peaceful, luxurious environment designed with your relaxation in mind. And with our newly added services, now you can get all your beauty services in one place. Visit Inspire Med Spa today, because you deserve to look and feel your best.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
At the Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville, our programs are designed with your future in mind, offering a dynamic blend of theoretical knowledge and practical skills across a variety of in-demand fields. From healthcare to manufacturing, our curriculum is tailored to meet the evolving needs of the industry, ensuring that our graduates are not just job ready, but future ready. This is where your future begins. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville. Go succeed.
We're feeling extra lucky this month at Community Chevrolet. And thanks to our legendary trade values, you'll feel like doing a jig of your own.
I do not dance on command, but if the moment calls for it.
This March, there's silver at the end of the rainbow in the form of the all-new 2025 Chevy Silverado. And our team is channeling the luck of the Irish to get you approved.
I call this move the Shamrock Boogie.
All this month, strike gold when you visit Community Chevrolet.
Pope Francis returned to the Vatican on Sunday after surviving a 5-week battle in hospital against double pneumonia. It was the most serious health crisis of his 12-year papacy. Shortly before leaving Rome's Gemelli Hospital, he made his first public appearance from a balcony at the facility, while emotional well-wishers cheered from below. A car carrying the pontiff was accompanied by police vehicles through Rome. It made a short detour for him to bring flowers to the Basilica of St. Mary Major, a church to which Francis has a special devotion and visits frequently. Joshua McElwee is Reuters' Vatican correspondent.
The Vatican said he went into the Basilica briefly to pray. He was then brought back toward the Vatican. He has now gone back to the Vatican, to the Casa Santa Marta where he lives. His doctors have said he will require a further 2 months of rest to recuperate and to recover. As he's 88 years old, he has other health conditions, and it will take time for his body to fully heal.
During Pope Francis' appearance, he thanked Carmela Vittoria Mancuso, who arrived every morning during his hospitalization with yellow flowers. Mancuso, who had prayed for him nightly, expressed her relief.
Contenta, gioiosa.
Happy, joyful. I don't know. My heart was bursting. I didn't think I would feel this way.
Under medical orders of rest, it's unclear how much activity Francis will undertake in the coming months.
American George Foreman, a sporting comeback king, died on Friday at age 76. He reclaimed the heavyweight boxing title at age 45, the oldest to do so, and went on to promote a famous grill. His family announced on Instagram that Foreman died peacefully, surrounded by loved ones. Foreman's fight against Muhammad Ali in Kinshasa, Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, went down as one of the most celebrated boxing matches in history. The rumble in the jungle saw Ali defeat the much larger Foreman, knocking him out in the 8th round. The loss devastated Foreman and would see him retire 3 years later in 1977 to become an ordained minister. After a rough childhood growing up in Texas, Foreman used his size and fists and turned to boxing. At age 19, and in his 25th amateur fight, Foreman captured the heavyweight boxing gold medal at the 1968 Olympics in Mexico City. Turning pro, he won 37 straight matches on his way to face reigning champion Joe Frazier in Jamaica, winning by technical knockout in round 2. In 1987, a decade after his first retirement, and at a considerably heavier 315 pounds, Foreman staged an unlikely return to the ring. He went on to win 24 straight matches and would eventually become the oldest ever heavyweight champion, aged 45. Foreman's last match was in 1997, ending his career with a professional record of 76 wins and 5 losses. Throughout the 1990s and after retirement, he was an enthusiastic pitchman for various products, most notably an electric grill. The company would pay Foreman and his partners $137.5 million to put his name on the grill and other goods.
U.S. stocks finished higher on Friday, ending well off their lows, with the Dow and S&P closing marginally higher, while the Nasdaq added 0.5%. Comments from President Donald Trump gave markets a lift after he said there will be flexibility on tariffs expected to begin in early April, and that his top trade chief plans to speak with his Chinese counterpart next week. Trump also reiterated his plan to use tariffs to narrow the U.S. trade deficit with China. Logan Capital Management portfolio manager Bill Fitzpatrick says in a challenging environment like this, investors have to move away from mega-cap tech stocks that have soared over the past few years.
I think it is fair to say this is a stock picking market, and I think the lesson for investors today is to focus on diversification. Leadership was very narrow the last couple of years, and I think now is a pretty good example of why you maintain diversification, why you're in value stocks, why you're in international equities. That discipline is being rewarded year to date, and we suspect that will continue.
Stocks on the move included FedEx, which slid about 6.5% after the package delivery firm cut its full-year profit and revenue forecasts, citing continued weakness and uncertainty in the U.S. industrial economy. Shares of Nike lost about 5.5% after the sports apparel maker projected a sharper decline in fourth-quarter revenue than analysts had anticipated. And Boeing rose 3% after Trump awarded the plane maker a contract to build the U.S. Air Force's most sophisticated fighter jet, beating out rival Lockheed Martin, shares of which fell nearly 6%.
I would say as an investor in today's market, what we're looking at is really trying to grasp the higher costs of doing business today. And what that's doing is it's pushing us toward higher quality companies. So if you think back the last 10 or 15 years, it's been very easy to piggyback off the policymakers, off the central banks. We think those days are over. And now we're going to find out which companies have made the investments into infrastructure, into IT, which companies have the balance sheet to stomach some turbulence. And I think that's really where the focus should be for investors for the back half of the year. I think with regard to the quality aspects that are performing well thus far in 2025, I would point to a few areas, particularly those with high dividend yields, those companies that have not taken on a lot of financial leverage, so a big focus on balance sheets. And I think market cap is another sign of strength. And we're seeing a rotation really out of U.S. technology-focused areas. That money hasn't really gone into smaller cap companies. A lot of that has gone overseas into European companies. So I think the focus on quality comes in a number of different ways. And I think you're seeing quite a bit of dispersion amongst sectors, amongst geographies. I think that also bodes well for active management. With regard to European equities, the market was focused on technology the last several years. There's not a strong presence within Europe on the technology front, which would contribute to why these stocks were left behind. But there's no question Europe, a number of large global companies reside within Europe. They compete against U.S. companies, and we think they should be valued accordingly. So a number of big integrated oil and gas companies, healthcare companies, industrial names, many good names that have actually been delivering decent earnings growth that offer very high dividend yields have been left behind. And now you're seeing coordination amongst European countries. You're seeing fiscal stimulus, particularly in Germany. These things are very supportive of European equities. And I think the market is finally taking notice of companies that are growing at mid to high single digits, offering competitive dividend yields, and are valued, most importantly, and are valued quite a bit less, more attractively than the U.S. names. I think that's why investors are taking notice. And you can buy blue chip European companies 10 to 15 times earnings. That opportunity is very rare in the U.S.
Shares of FedEx dropped as much as 12% Friday morning to a nearly 2-year low after the package delivery firm cut its annual forecasts. The move raised worries about the health of U.S. manufacturing amid uncertainty from the Trump administration's sweeping tariffs on trading partners. FedEx said it was navigating a very challenging operating environment and that weaknesses in the industrial economy were weighing on its higher margin business-to-business volumes. The company and its rival UPS are viewed as barometers for the global economy due to their involvement across a swath of industries. Shares of UPS fell as much as 4% Friday morning. Analysts have said Trump's tariffs could trigger a recession and a trade war, further hammering demand for transportation and delivery services. FedEx has been reducing costs as demand for lower-margin e-commerce deliveries from companies such as Temu and Shein outpaces higher-margin business-to-business shipments. At least 10 brokerages cut their price targets on the company's stock on Friday.
From the performance of world stocks to Britain's budget, these are the stories to watch in business and finance in the coming week. U.S. equities are bleeding money at one of the fastest weekly rates on record, and the cash is finding a home in previously neglected markets. Europe's Stoxx 600 is set for a gain of around 9% in the first quarter, against the S&P's 4.5% loss. Chinese tech stocks have shot up, with a regional index over 30% higher, while a basket of Wall Street's big tech stocks is down 15%. World stocks minus the United States are heading for their best first quarter performance since 2019. Investors are taking note. Investors wary of signs of slowing growth and tariff uncertainty get a raft of fresh U.S. data in the coming week, including a key inflation gauge. February's Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, a closely watched measure of inflation, is due on March 28th. The Federal Reserve recently lifted its expectation for PCE, projecting it would end the year at 2.7%, up from a previous forecast of 2.5%. Measures of consumer confidence and consumer sentiment will also be in the spotlight. UK investors are about to discover whether weak growth and unexpectedly high borrowing have blown the Labour government's budget goals far enough off course for markets to call for a return to austerity measures. Alongside Finance Minister Rachel Reeves's March 26 spring statement, the Office for Budget Responsibility is expected to reduce forecasts that, back in October, assumed the government would just meet its self-imposed spending rules. The Institute for Fiscal Studies has warned that even a minor downgrade would force Reeves to choose between tax increases, spending cuts, or months of, quote, damaging speculation about what she will do in the autumn budget. Australia and Tokyo will get their inflation report cards as central bankers around the world try to assess the impact of Trump's tariff policies on global price pressures. Australian consumer prices on Wednesday are expected to have held steady in February, which could support the still cautious Reserve Bank of Australia's patient approach to future rate cuts. Tokyo inflation is due on Friday, as the Bank of Japan continues to monitor mounting domestic price pressures that could warrant further monetary tightening.
From a spending boost for Germany to French first-class luxury, this is the week in numbers. A $546 billion infrastructure fund could be a reality for German Chancellor-in-waiting Friedrich Merz. That's as Parliament approved plans for a massive spending surge. It would shed decades of fiscal conservatism in hopes of reviving economic growth. Germany and other European nations have been under pressure to shore up their defences in the face of hostile Russia and shifts in US policy. $32 billion is how much Alphabet has agreed to pay for Israel's Wiz. The Google parent confirmed the move for the cybersecurity firm on Tuesday. It would become Alphabet's largest acquisition to date. €10,000 is roughly the price of a one-way flight in May on board Air France's new first-class suite. The CEO of parent Air France KLM, Ben Smith, says the new investment would put Air France at the top of the European League in airline luxury.
French touch, which is really something unique in many aspects of our service, is something that we leverage, and it's something our customers look for. It's something that we can take advantage of. And I would say, why are some airlines not able, from our view, why they're not able to keep this up? Is it's tough, because it's not just on board with seats. It's got to be the service. It has to be what's on the ground, and that part is difficult to replicate.
China's Xiaomi reported a near 50% jump in fourth quarter revenue to more than $15 billion. Xiaomi began manufacturing EVs last year. For the majority of its 25-year history, it's mostly sold smartphones, household appliances and smart gadgets. Flight schedules around the world were sent into chaos on Friday as Britain's Heathrow Airport was shut after a huge fire at a nearby electrical substation knocked out its power. The blaze also knocked out the area's backup power station, leading to a mass outage at Europe's busiest airport and the world's fifth busiest. Heathrow said it had been due to handle 1,351 flights during the day, flying over 290,000 passengers. Some were left scrambling for alternative travel plans at London's main train stations.
It's my favourite city, but I need to be home.
Heathrow said the airport would be closed until midnight. John Strickland is an independent air transport consultant.
To have it out of action for 24 hours is a massive impact for aviation, massive impact for the UK economy. We see particular impact from long-haul flights which are already on their way to Heathrow and had to divert back to either their points of origin or numerous other airports. So some in the UK, some in Europe, some much further afield.
Industry experts also warned that some passengers forced to land in Europe may have to stay in transit lounges if they lack the visa paperwork to leave the airport. Global flight schedules will also be affected more broadly, as many aircraft will now be out of position. British Airways, the biggest carrier at Heathrow, had 341 flights scheduled to land there on Friday. The chaos hit shares in airlines including BA parent IAG, which dropped over 3% in morning trade. Lufthansa slipped 1.2%, while Air France KLM declined 2%.
Raise your right hand and
Namibia's newly elected president, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, pledged to tackle high unemployment rates as she took office on Friday. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony, Namibia's first female president promised to boost investment and diversify the country's resource-focused economy.
Increase investment in the development of infrastructures to open investment opportunities, enhance economic productivity, promote economic growth, and improve the quality of life of our people.
Namibia has seen relatively strong economic growth in recent years, primarily due to investments in oil, gas, and green hydrogen. However, World Bank data indicates that the nation ranks second highest globally for income inequality.
We are going to increase investment in the agricultural sector to increase output and meet domestic food requirements. As our founding president taught us, People who cannot feed themselves, they will never be respected.
Nandi Ndaitwah's SWAPO party has governed the nation of around 3 million people for more than 3 decades. Though it secured victory in both the presidential and parliamentary elections in November, SWAPO's support has fallen in the last decade. Dissatisfaction with high unemployment, inequality, and corruption allegations saw the party secure 57% of the vote in November's presidential race, compared to 87% in the 2014 election. Last month, Namibia's Supreme Court dismissed a challenge against the presidential election brought by opposition parties. Their case had claimed the vote was flawed and potentially invalid due to an extension of voting for several days, among other issues.
All right, let's take a look at that weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania. Cloudy skies, a high in the upper 40s. Winds could occasionally gust over 40 miles per hour today. Cloudy early, some clearing expected late with lows in the low 30s. Tuesday, morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, and a high in the upper 40s. Wednesday, cloudy, mid-30s. Thursday, partly cloudy, low 50s. Friday, some afternoon rain showers with temperatures in the upper 50s. Meadville this morning at 40. Cambridge Springs, Edinburgh at 41. Titusville, 43. Franklin this morning, 44. Oil City, 44 degrees here this morning. There's our live shot. Live shot this morning of Pittsburgh, where it's 46 degrees here this morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Coming up to the top of the hour here, where it's just about 8 o'clock. We'll recap your headlines. Great local programming will continue on the Armstrong Neighborhood channel. We'll continue on our website, streammedia.tv, and our YouTube channel, as well as the Northwest PA playlist on Armstrong Neighborhood channel on YouTube. You can catch us there as well. So, yeah, Monday, do you have everything mapped out?
Do I have everything mapped out?
I say that. Listen, this was Friday, right? I'm so excited. You did it. You did it. You did it. You got the calendar together. I'm not making fun of you. Mm-hmm. It's great. You have our family well organized. Well, no, I've already looked down several times at this just to see. Oh, okay, we got this that day. Mm-hmm. We're also into award season, right? You've got the Diamond Awards coming up. Mm-hmm. I think Titusville Chambers Annual Awards Night's coming up. United Way has a special event later in the week. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there's a lot going on in that department. Also, I just lost it here. Oh, no. Okay, Pennsylvania Fire Weather Awareness Week is this week.
All right.
So today, Pennsylvania Fire Weather Agencies. Tuesday, the science of wildfire. Wednesday, wildfire communication. Thursday, wildfire safety. Friday, a recap. And you can catch that on Facebook. Pennsylvania's Fire Weather Awareness Week kicks off today. And you can learn more by going to the U.S. National Weather Service in State College, PA, to get more information there. So,
sweet.
Yeah, just keep that in mind. And obviously, I think, was it last week, the week before, there's been some warnings. So just, be safe, be careful, know what's going on around you before you get into all that. So, all right, thanks for being with us. For those watching on the Armstrong Neighborhood channel, we'll keep things going on our side of things. We've got Neil Fratus from the city of Titusville. Gary Glunt's going to join us. All coming up here in the 8 o'clock.
Please make up your mind. You've got to come into my world and leave your world behind. Come on now. Na 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 na. You've got to come down from that cloud, girl, and leave your world behind. When you're with me, I feel sunshine even when I'm standing in the rain. Something happens that I can't explain when I hear your name, but you can't help it that you're always chasing rainbows in your mind. There's so much I want to say to you, and there's so little.
New Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney on Sunday called a snap election for April 28th, saying he needed a strong mandate to deal with the threat posed by U.S. President Donald Trump.
We are facing the most significant crisis of our lifetimes because of President Trump's unjustified trade actions and his threats to our sovereignty.
The comments are a sign of how relations between the two longtime allies and major trading partners have deteriorated. Trump has imposed tariffs on Canadian goods and threatened to annex it as its 51st state.
He wants to break us so America can own us. We will not let that happen. We're over the shock of the betrayal, but we should never forget the lessons.
The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Carney's remarks. Carney, who was sworn in on March 14th, captured the Liberal leadership by persuading party members he was the best person to tackle Trump. The next election was not due until October, but Carney's hoping to capitalize on his party's remarkable recovery in the polls since January. It follows former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's resignation as well as Trump's threats. Earlier this month, Trump delayed a broad 25% tariff on some Canadian goods for 30 days. He has since imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum imports and threatened reciprocal tariffs on additional goods, including Canadian dairy and lumber, starting April 2nd. Canadians are rallying for their country and seeing a resurgence in nationalism.
And when we are attacked, we stand together.
On Saturday, residents gathered in Toronto to denounce U.S. tariffs. Canada-U.S. relations top the list of issues preoccupying residents, according to recent polls. Carney, a former two-time central banker with no previous political or election campaign experience, now has 5 weeks to win over Canadians. On Sunday, Carney proposed cutting the lowest income tax bracket by 1 percentage point. Polls suggest the Liberals, who have been in power since 2015, have slightly pulled ahead of the official opposition Conservatives, who had led earlier in the year. The Conservatives have sought to portray Carney as an elitist, who plans to continue the Trudeau-era policy of high government spending.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Poppy's Equipment and Storage Rental in Pleasantville is committed to providing our customers with exceptional service while offering quality rental equipment. Poppy's is now an authorized steel dealer with everything you need to have for sawing and cutting or mowing to digging. And of course, Poppy's has tents, tables, chairs, heaters, generators, barbecues, and more for your next wedding or get-together. Need firewood or propane? No problem. Whether you're in construction or a weekend warrior, reach out to Poppy's about your next project. Poppy's Place on the Tenesta Road in Pleasantville. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
For a unique shopping experience with great gift ideas, decor, and so much more, come check out what Titusville Market Square's nearly 100 vendors have to offer. Featuring unique items from local agribusiness, craftsmen, and vendors, we also offer products from 4 regional dairies, including a full line of Titusville dairy products. We carry a complete line of Amish wedding products, local honey, and maple syrup, as well as nostalgic Dog and Suds root beer and Fiestada pizzas. Don't forget to pick up fresh Clark's Donuts, delivered daily. Titusville Market Square, the new name in one-stop shopping.
Who
Who can solve this equation?
Ooh! Me.
Anyone else? Fine. Jake from State Farm. Again.
Right. It's the personal price plan theorem. If you bundle your home and auto, that can equal an affordable price just for you. Bundling. Just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Fat Chad's Brewing is Titusville's premier dining destination, offering fine dining served with a cold beverage and great conversations. Try our new menu items, the T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Our pasta entries and sandwiches are just as popular. Try the new lobster ravioli, shrimp and scallop pasta, or our popular Asiago chicken. Don't forget about our famous burgers or fish sandwich, all served with fresh cut fries. Come in Saturday nights for Wild Game Saturdays. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
For over 11 years, Triple M Roofing has been providing Amish quality craftsmanship and work ethic that you can rely on. Pole barns, decks, porches, siding, and almost all roofing needs, Triple M Roofing will get the job done on time without sacrificing quality or the promise to deliver within your budget. Call today for a free estimate, 814-964-0472. Waiting is what you'll do with the other guys. Getting it done is what we do. Amish owned and operated, we're Triple M Roofing.
U.S. stocks finished higher on Friday, ending well off their lows, with the Dow and S&P closing marginally higher, while the Nasdaq added 0.5%. Comments from President Donald Trump gave markets a lift after he said there will be flexibility on tariffs expected to begin in early April, and that his top trade chief plans to speak with his Chinese counterpart next week. Trump also reiterated his plan to use tariffs to narrow the U.S. trade deficit with China. Logan Capital Management portfolio manager Bill Fitzpatrick says in a challenging environment like this, investors have to move away from mega-cap tech stocks that have soared over the past few years.
I think it is fair to say this is a stock picking market. And I think the lesson for investors today is to focus on diversification. Leadership was very narrow the last couple of years. And I think now is a pretty good example of, why you maintain diversification, why you're in value stocks, why you're in international equities. That discipline is being rewarded year to date, and we suspect that will continue.
Stocks on the move included FedEx, which slid about 6.5% after the package delivery firm cut its full-year profit and revenue forecasts, citing continued weakness and uncertainty in the U.S. industrial economy. Shares of Nike lost about 5.5% after the sports apparel maker projected a sharper decline in fourth quarter revenue than analysts had anticipated. And Boeing rose 3% after Trump awarded the plane maker a contract to build the U.S. Air Force's most sophisticated fighter jet, beating out rival Lockheed Martin, shares of which fell nearly 6%.
Joining us this morning is the city manager for the city of Titusville, Mr. Neil Fratus joins us. Neil, good morning. Good to see you.
Luke, good morning. Good to see you too.
Hard to believe we are coming into the fourth month here of this brand new year, and you've had some nice breaks in the weather. Movement's been taking place out at the parks, and man, there's a lot going on.
There is a lot. We were just talking before the show how April's around the corner here, and we've been very busy. Had some nice days there. We were able to unfortunately fill some potholes. We're still filling those potholes, and working in the parks as well, and trying to get a jump on things obviously here for the summertime.
What have meetings have been like this month, and what are you expecting here into April?
Yeah, so something new this month we've done for the first time is move our council meetings back into City Hall. We had our first meeting last week there, and it's a smaller space, but again, it went very well. We actually had some folks that came to the meeting as well and spoke, which was nice. And again, it just was much more convenient for the city staff as we're able to not having to haul things across the street, over to Town Square. So that was kind of a nice change. So that was nice. As I said, we had our meeting last week. We discussed a couple different things. We had our second reading of our Shade Tree Commission ordinance. That's something that we've been working on for the past few years, just trying to button up some things in the language with that ordinance. We also developed a finance committee. That was something that was recommended by our strategic management folks that came in and that we've been working with for the last 2 years and provided us some short-term and long-term goals for the city. And one of the recommendations was forming a finance committee where you'd get some folks from the public involved, and you meet quarterly and discuss city finances, kind of see where we're at with the budget each year. I know we talk every year towards the end of the year how we have our public meetings, 6 or 8 meetings where we let the public come in and just see how we come up with our budget for the next year, for the following year. And so again, this committee's being formed again to obviously be more transparent and give folks an idea of things that we're working on, some of the challenges that we face each year when we're looking for revenue, when we have to adjust some things as well, and services that we provide. So again, I'm kind of excited for that committee to be formed so we can get some public in here as well to look at those things. And again, just sit down every quarter to work with our finance supervisor and myself and share those things.
Obviously, there's a lot of projects sort of on the table, a lot of things that have come up. What's that balance like for you? Do you have things that are sort of ranked in terms of priority above others? Obviously, there's projects that have popped up over the years that you're like, okay, we have to take on these challenges. But for other things, is it getting council's view on these projects, letting them know what's coming up and figuring out then how you pay for these projects?
Yeah, this year it just seems like we have a lot of different projects, a lot of challenges that we have this year, in front of us. We've talked about Church Run. Church Run has been a project we've talked about for many years, and having that study that was done, that's something on our radar as well. We've talked about most recently our Public Works building. It's aging, 60 plus years old. We had a leak in the roof here over the winter months, and again, we have addressed that temporarily, but it's something we need to look at. As I said, that building's getting old. Where do we go from here? So that's something we're also looking at. Other projects we have in town, infrastructure issues, water well project, something that's going to be the next few years. We've started that project at the end of last year, and so again, I think it's just sitting down with council, prioritizing these projects, things that we have. Obviously, things come up in between there as well. We have other projects that we planned, small projects, whether it's in the parks, whether it's stormwater, just different things that we're working on. Those are included as well. And then again, it's just sitting down and prioritizing those things and then moving forward.
I see Councilman Gavin Griffin posted something about some funds maybe not coming through on a section of roadway that was also flagged as an issue maybe, last year?
A few years ago.
Okay.
East Mount Vernon Street. It's a street that's not heavily used with traffic. We have one house on that street. Obviously, that street is up above and kind of feeds down into some other properties along Brook Street. Has become an issue. The weather. There's a spring up there as well that's kind of just ate away at the road. We applied for some funding, some congressional money through Senator Casey's office at the time last year. He wasn't reelected this year, kind of went to Senator Fetterman's office and got to the final stages where it needed to be signed to the president, and unfortunately it just didn't get signed. There was a temporary bill that was passed to avoid government shutdown. Unfortunately, it wasn't included in there. Very disappointing for us. It's something it's about $1 million project. We had that kind of broken down into 2 different projects, obviously addressing the water issue that we had up there, and then obviously the infrastructure issue with reforming the road.
Because if you don't do the one, it's really pointless to do the other, right?
Right. Taking care of the water issue first was the big one, because it was just going to eat away at that hillside in that road. So again, we had kind of broken down to 2 different projects into one great big one. So we're back to square one. We just got word of that last week. Again, very disappointing. Sure. That I thought we were that close to getting those funds, and back to the drawing board. And we'll figure it out. We'll look at some other means of funding. We're closely monitoring what's left of that road. Certainly, I know the neighbors in that area are also concerned. They want us to take care of that, and we're working on that, and it is a main priority for us.
Is there any opportunity to reapply or to make phone calls and kind of still have that as a possible avenue to head down?
Yeah, we'll have to reapply again. Obviously, we had the application was all done. It's just probably updating some numbers and things that we have. Unfortunately, costs don't go down. We haven't seen that, so we'll have to adjust for that. But again, there's that opportunity through that funding base, and then we can look at some other funding sources as well. And again, unfortunately, it's not a you apply and a week later, it's sometimes it takes months and sometimes a year. And again, we need to monitor that location as well, as it's not getting any better, of course.
Any sort of estimate on how long that road could last the way it is?
Oh boy, I couldn't tell you. I know we monitor every week. We send somebody up there to take a look at it just to see. We have done some temporary things up there to try to redirect the water into a catch basin off of Oak Street again, but you never know how much rain we're going to get. Obviously, we had a rough winter. So again, we're going to closely monitor that and, do the best we can.
Do you ever sit back and think, like, how do municipalities like this size or smaller manage things when you're talking price tags that are, for some projects that seem kind of basic, but they really aren't? That one you said is what, close to $1 million?
Yeah, it's about $1 million. And I'll tell you, last week, towards the end of the week, there was just a lot of things going on. And, of course, we get the word of that. And I think to myself, oh, my goodness, what are we going to do? And so, it's just kind of gathering your thoughts and thinking, okay, we just need to prioritize things. And I think of these other small townships, other municipalities that, they have the same challenges that we have here, too. And some are worse, some are better off. And again, you do your best.
For you, what excites you about coming into the springtime, the weather changing? I'm sure the crews are excited to kind of mix things up and maybe not talk snow, but get into park projects and other things.
Yeah, I tell you what's exciting for me is just seeing out in the past few weeks, seeing the kids at the playground down at the Admire Complex. 17 to, I counted the other 17 kids down there playing the other day, and getting calls from folks just saying, hey, thank you for the playground set down there. So it's great to see that. It's nice to see the grass starting to get green. We've talked about cleanup days. We have one usually in April that we're working on scheduling. And again, it's just getting ready for some of these projects that we have. We're working on a park project over at Burgess Park, replacing some playground equipment. Last week we got the old equipment out of there. There was some issues with that equipment, so it was perfect timing to be able to replace that equipment. So again, it's going to take a little bit of time. I know folks are excited to get out and use the playground equipment and some of our park amenities. But again, I look forward to that, just seeing more people out and about.
Any salvageable parts from Burgess? Or?
Yeah, we're going to take a look. Swing set wise, we're able to salvage some things there. Playground set, sometimes, there's a rock climbing actually as it relates to Burgess Park. We're going to be able to save out of that equipment. Unfortunately, the slide and some of the safety posts, we certainly don't want to take away any safety concerns. If there's some concerns we have about safety, we're not going to use the equipment. But I think the rock climbing we're going to be able to leave or maybe even transition it into another park. So we're trying to do the best we can to save what we can, but again, we're not going to sacrifice safety.
Yeah, and it's been nice. I know you've been really excited about this. I think down at Admire, there was a trailer down there full of the equipment last fall or summer and fall, and I know pickleball had to get finished up, and then everything else. But it's nice to see it actually out and set up.
Yeah, starting to get that trailer unloaded. It was packed tight all the way to the door. So we're working our way through there and working our way on through the parks. And again, very excited to get those projects done.
What sort of feedback are you hearing from the public as you're out and about? Does it seem like the city is tackling the issues people are bringing up, or is it other things that people are concerned about?
Yeah, streets. That's a big thing right now with paving. Our paving project, we talked about it at the last council meeting. We have streets that we're doing. It's never enough. I share with folks.
Well, and it doesn't take, as soon as the snow melts, it's like, hey, what are you doing about this? Let's make sure the snow's gone first before we dive into
exactly. This. And so, we had a rough winter. I did a number on a lot of our city streets, some of our alleys as well, and again, folks calling in talking about, hey, is it on the paving schedule? And it's tough. I share our number. We usually get right around $190,000 a year to do paving, and that is not a lot of money with the streets that we have here. So we do our best to try to prioritize these streets. We certainly want people to call and share concerns if you have if your street's got potholes, if it's got issues. If it's something we can do temporarily, even get it into next year, we'll do that. We're putting cold patch down. But again, we have to wait for the snow to get off the road before we can do a lot of these things. Main Street was a really bad spot. I'm sure everyone is aware. And so we were able to get that done. Now we're on the other side, same street, but on the other side of the road to fix that spot with the cones that are out. So, we just appreciate everyone being patient with us. And again, if you have a concern or a pothole, let us know about it, and we'll get out there and get it taken care of.
Yeah, it's got to be crazy because I'm sure you're experiencing, a spot where you go, okay, yeah, we should take care of this, and then something bigger happens, and it's like, well, that's sort of the priority now.
Yeah,
so.
and, it never fails. Every year we'll go and we'll pave a street, and a month or two later, there's a water leak underneath and we have to tear it up. And unfortunately, it's just what you have to deal with and adjust.
Yeah. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. City Manager for the City of Titusville, Neil Fratus, with us here this morning. Still using Diamond Maps?
Yes, still using Diamond Maps to record a lot of things that we do on the streets. If it's replacing a valve, water line, what have you, fire hydrant, we're documenting those things in the Diamond Maps. It's a great program that we've been utilizing for several years now. And again, each department's using that, and it's sure beats writing things on a notepad and then not knowing where you put the notepad, but it's all in a system that everybody's able to look at and share.
That's great. We're coming in, I know we've had some wind warnings, but we're coming into the summer months where it seems like the past couple of years, storms have taken down trees, branches, things like that. Yeah. What should homeowners do, or what can they do? Or is there really no way of testing to see if, you've got solid trees around you?
Yeah, if you have a question or concern about one of your trees in your yard, give us a call. Obviously, if it's on the side of the sidewalk that's where your residence is, that's the homeowner's responsibility. Certainly, you can give us a call. We can come out and take a look at it for you. The shade tree can be involved as well. We can give you some guidance in that direction. But if it's in between the street and the sidewalk, give us a call. We can look at those trees as well. And if you see a limb that just doesn't look right, give us a call. Again, we'll help you if we can. If not, we can at least put you in the right direction, and what you can do to obviously take care of it.
Something we don't talk a whole lot about, but probably a good time to start thinking about this. If you're looking to do any sort of home improvement project, and let's talk about outside for a moment, sidewalks, porches, steps, things like that. What's the proper process? Do they need a building permit or something, or should the contractor be helping them with that?
Yeah, you don't necessarily need a building permit. Give us a call. Our code enforcement, our zoning officer can take a look at that. If you're simply replacing a roof on your front porch, you may not need a permit for that. Obviously, if you're building a porch with a deck and what have you, there is a permit process that you have to go through. Give us a call. Our code enforcement officer, zoning officer will come out and take a look at that, tell you if you need one, put you in the right direction, or if you need just some guidance on, hey, I'm looking for somebody to do some home repairs. Do you have any ideas or any thoughts of somebody? We'll be glad to share that information with you as well. So again, whether it's a sidewalk, whether it's some work on your home, on your garage, give us a call. We'll help you out.
And then something else, obviously, to be thinking about is, and this will excite people. Grass will be growing, and just making sure you're keeping up on that stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be getting into, obviously when the temperatures change and get warmer, grass is going to start growing. I noticed it is starting to get a little greener, which is nice. But there is a phase through April, May where grass is just growing. We all know how quickly the grass
kind of sneaks up on you.
It does. And I know our code office is very busy. Again, we just ask you to take care of your yard. We do have an ordinance that's 8 inches high, which is awfully high for grass. That you abide by to make sure it's cut. And again, if you have a neighbor that's, say it's a house that's abandoned, there's nobody living there, give us a call. We try to get ahead of the game before it gets too high, and we end up dealing with it all summer long. And sometimes it doesn't get cut until the end of summer. So again, if you have an abandoned property beside you that's just not getting taken care of, give us a call. We can work on that as well.
I guess maybe the upcoming schedule of meetings in April and other things that the city's sort of managing, like the roundtable. That's coming up.
Yeah, so April 2nd will be our next council meeting, and that's our first roundtable, I say, for the month of April. So again, 2 meetings, first and third Wednesdays of each month. As I said, the next one is April 2nd, and these meetings are going to be held at City Hall. Our roundtable is once a month as well, the first Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. What I'd like to do is start touring around the city and going to different locations to have those roundtables each month, which would be nice. So we'll work on that with the groups that participate. And again, we're getting into full swing here with spring and summer around the corner, and a lot of exciting things going on, not just for the city, but for the nonprofits and for the businesses. They have a lot of events that are happening, and so again, very exciting as we move into the year.
Roundtable. Did you say that's still going to be at?
It's going to be at City Hall.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Or it'll be at a location, potentially by somebody that participates in the roundtable.
And you mentioned at the start there, it's having the meetings at City Hall has been nice because everything's right there.
Yeah, it's just been great transitioning over, not having to carry everything across the street. Again, we appreciate the Redevelopment Authority and the space that they have, but again, it just made sense for us. We're able to provide it at City Hall, and having a parking lot right there and just easy access right into the building on the first floor works out well too.
Yeah, and again, those are open to the public. You can go just find out what's going on. suggestions, or maybe you're part of a committee or an organization, you're just trying to get an idea of what's happening, those are great things to attend. Yeah. Speaking of which, if folks are trying to schedule something or want to schedule something, should they come in and talk to you or somebody at City Hall first? Or, they don't always have to go to a meeting to bring this stuff up.
Yeah, if they want to have a special event, stop in. If you have a question, hey, can I utilize the park? Or hey, I noticed you're putting playground to come in, and when's the park going to be open again? Just things like that. Ask questions. Stop in. You can email. You can give us a call. Anything like that. If you have a complaint, if you have a suggestion. Again, if you're not able to make the council meetings, you can certainly come in Monday through Friday into our office. My door has always been open. I encourage anyone to come in and again, voice a concern, an idea, a thought, what have you. And again, we're always open to anything. So.
I keep saying the St. Patrick's Day parade, but the Irish Heritage parade that took place a couple weeks ago it was great.
Yeah, very successful. It was our second annual parade. We partnered with Council of the Arts, and again, we had about 12 to 15 different participants in the parade. Everything went well. We had a great crowd. Obviously, the weather was very cooperative for us, and a lot of wonderful events happening throughout the weekend with concerts and just different things and among town. So again, it was great to see everyone out, and obviously not just for St. Patrick's Day, but as we get into the spring months.
Does that get you excited for the upcoming months? I'm sure businesses are excited to add that tourism piece that may have slowed up a little bit when you get the train running again and things are happening like that. It really adds to the excitement of downtown.
Yeah, I think everyone's excited. I saw a lot of folks obviously out without jackets on and things, and like I said, the weather was nice. And again, I think for me it's exciting because I'm used to standing there when it's dark for the Santa Parade, and obviously the weather's much
which
more
is magical in its own right.
Yes, again. Different type of holiday, obviously, but again, it's nice to have daylight when you're actually directing folks out in the parade. And so again, it's an exciting time.
What? So the next meeting is what?
April 2nd. So that'll be next Wednesday. It'll be our next meeting.
Okay.
And, obviously encouraging everyone to come out. It's at City Hall. I'll keep talking about that for a while because it is a change from many years. We've been always at Town Square. So. Yeah.
Now again, something else that people can start to utilize. I think once you start the process and you get it a couple times, it's like, okay, it just becomes automatic. But paying your bill online can be a really easy way to just take care of that without mailing something in or figuring out when I'm going to drop a check off online.
Yeah, it's gotten a little quieter with folks. Obviously, we've made some changes with billing starting in March. But again, if you want to pay online, it's a very simple process. You go to our city website. There's a tab that says Pay My Bill. You click on that. If you have an account, you log in and you pay. And you're able to see your previous bills, your usage, your services that are provided to you. And again, if somebody wants to start an account online, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. Again, it's very simple. Simple process, and again, with the fees that have changed with $1.50 now, if you want to get a paper bill in the mail, and you don't want that $1.50 charge, give us a call. We'll walk you through it, and again, very simple process.
Also, that kind of reminds me, the online side of things, scheduling usage at the parks or renting pavilions or picnic areas. That's something that they can do as well?
Yeah, you can do that online as well. Again, I'm encouraging everyone to fill those things out, those special events. We're filling up quickly. We know all the events that happen at the Admire Complex and some of the pavilions that some of our parks are getting rented for birthday parties, graduation parties we're talking about already, and just different things. So give us a call. We do have an application process for that. We'll walk you through it. We'll share those forms with you as well. And again, I encourage you to get signed up because things are filling up quickly.
I saw like the first graduation invite back in January.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, wow, this seems early.
Yeah.
But somebody was really on top of it. And
yeah. Again, those things will fill up quickly. And here we are, almost April.
That's incredible. Neil, if folks have questions, want more information, how do they find you?
Yeah, give us a call. City Hall, 827-5300. You can email us as well, not just me, but City Council. Come to a council meeting. Again, I'm always encouraging folks to come to our meeting. We meet twice a month. It's going to be at City Hall. Share some concerns that you have. If you have some discussion on some of the things that are on our agenda, we encourage you to attend.
Good to see you this morning.
Luke, thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Take care.
Ukrainian and U.S. delegations met for talks in Saudi Arabia on Sunday. It's part of a diplomatic push by President Donald Trump to bring an end to Europe's deadliest conflict since World War II. Ukraine's defense minister said they discussed proposals to protect energy facilities and critical infrastructure. And in a Sunday evening address, Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky said the day's talks were productive.
Our team is working in a completely constructive manner. The conversation is quite useful. The work of the delegations is continuing.
After speaking with the Ukrainians Sunday night, the U.S. delegation plans to sit down with the Russians on Monday. In an interview with Fox News Sunday, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff was optimistic about that meeting, as well as working with Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war.
I feel that he wants peace. I just don't see that he wants to take all of Europe. This is a much different situation than it was in World War II. In World War II, there was no NATO. You have countries that are armed there. To me, it just does. I take him at his word in this sense.
The White House says the aim of the current talks is to secure a ceasefire on the Black Sea, allowing the free flow of shipping. Bloomberg News, citing people familiar with the planning, reported on Sunday that the U.S. hopes to reach a broad ceasefire by April 20th. Trump said over the weekend that efforts to stop further escalation in the Ukraine-Russia war were, quote, somewhat under control. Yet despite all the diplomatic activity, Russia and Ukraine have both reported continued strikes. Ukrainian officials said on Sunday that a large-scale Russian drone attack on Kyiv the night before killed at least 3 people, including a 5-year-old child. Meanwhile, Russian authorities said they had shot down dozens of Ukrainian drones targeting the country's southwest, adding that the strikes had killed 1 person in Rostov. Russian forces have also continued to advance slowly in eastern Ukraine, a region Moscow claims to have annexed.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
If you're looking for a professional massage therapist, Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville is here for you. Ray and Rauch graduated from Slippery Rock University with a bachelor's degree in exercise and rehabilitative sciences with an emphasis in athletic training. Tranquil Moments offers a wide range of services, from Swedish massage to deep tissue, sugar scrubs to hot towel inclusion therapy. Like them on Facebook and visit their website to learn more about all the services they offer. Tranquil Moments Massage in Titusville.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. Unlike Zoom from Armstrong, 5G home internet is delivered by a cell tower. The further away you are, or the more devices connected to that tower, the slower your internet is. Cell phone providers also play favorites. When their network gets busy, cell phones win, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it, not whenever they want. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
J. Gill Plumbing and Heating takes pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. With over 30 years of experience, our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. Our team is dedicated to making your home the ultimate place of comfort. Call today to get a free estimate. We also offer financing options and membership opportunities that provide peace of mind and cost savings. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online 24/7 at jgillplumbingheating.com.
Sheer Design is Titusville's exclusive Paul Mitchell-focused salon. This full-service salon specializes in coloring, cuts, nails, and tanning. Owner Angela Saxon has over 20 years' experience as a Paul Mitchell professional. She and her licensed staff offer all cuts and styles for men and women of all ages. Call 814-827-0010 or stop in at 116 South Kerr Street in Titusville.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Levin, and I proudly own and operate Puppy Levin. Puppy Levin is a pet care salon dedicated to caring for your furry companions. We provide certified dog grooming services along with boarding and doggy daycare. Our facility is family-owned and operated and promise personalized care for every pet that comes through our doors. If you're worried about your furry friend being lonely when you're gone, we also have on-site personnel 24/7 just for their comfort. Follow us on Facebook and call or text us at 814-758-9259 to make an appointment today.
Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733.
U.S. stocks finished higher on Friday, ending well off their lows, with the Dow and S&P closing marginally higher, while the Nasdaq added 0.5%. Comments from President Donald Trump gave markets a lift after he said there will be flexibility on tariffs expected to begin in early April, and that his top trade chief plans to speak with his Chinese counterpart next week. Trump also reiterated his plan to use tariffs to narrow the U.S. trade deficit with China. Logan Capital Management portfolio manager Bill Fitzpatrick says in a challenging environment like this, investors have to move away from mega-cap tech stocks that have soared over the past few years.
I think it is fair to say this is a stock picking market, and I think the lesson for investors today is to focus on diversification. Leadership was very narrow the last couple of years, and I think now is a pretty good example of why you maintain diversification, why you're in value stocks, why you're in international equities. That discipline is being rewarded year to date, and we suspect that will continue.
Stocks on the move included FedEx, which slid about 6.5% after the package delivery firm cut its full-year profit and revenue forecasts, citing continued weakness and uncertainty in the U.S. industrial economy. Shares of Nike lost about 5.5% after the sports apparel maker projected a sharper decline in fourth quarter revenue than analysts had anticipated. And Boeing rose 3% after Trump awarded the plane maker a contract to build the U.S. Air Force's most sophisticated fighter jet, beating out rival Lockheed Martin, shares of which fell nearly 6%.
From a spending boost for Germany to French first-class luxury, this is the week in numbers. A $546 billion infrastructure fund could be a reality for German Chancellor-in-waiting Friedrich Merz. That's as Parliament approved plans for a massive spending surge. It would shed decades of fiscal conservatism in hopes of reviving economic growth. Germany and other European nations have been under pressure to shore up their defences in the face of hostile Russia and shifts in US policy. $32 billion is how much Alphabet has agreed to pay for Israel's Wiz. The Google parent confirmed the move for the cybersecurity firm on Tuesday. It would become Alphabet's largest acquisition to date. €10,000 is roughly the price of a one-way flight in May on board Air France's new first-class suite. The CEO of parent Air France KLM, Ben Smith, says the new investment would put Air France at the top of the European League in airline luxury.
French touch, which is really something unique in many aspects of our service, is something that we leverage. and it's something our customers look for. It's something that we can take advantage of. And I would say, why are some airlines not able, from our view, why they're not able to keep this up? Is it's tough, because it's not just on board with seats. It's got to be the service. It has to be what's on the ground, and that part is difficult to replicate.
China's Xiaomi reported a near 50% jump in fourth quarter revenue to more than $15 billion. Xiaomi began manufacturing EVs last year. For the majority of its 25-year history, it's mostly sold smartphones, household appliances, and smart gadgets.
Oh, it's so nice to be with you.
Well, joining us this morning is Mr. Gary Glunt. Gary, good morning.
Good morning, Luke. Can you see me, bud?
I can't. Can you see me?
I can see you. I'm trying to figure out how this goes on.
Well, while you do that, let's at least start the conversation. How have you been?
Real good, Luke. Real good. What about you?
Great. You walk around this time of year and people have that. There you are. People have that. Tax day's coming up. Kind of look in their eyes.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, you talk to accountants and they've got that stressed out look as well. But they laugh. They know it's that's just that time of year. We had a couple weeks ago when you were on. You presenting great information on a lot of things, and we sort of ended with so much out there. Should you still be doing your own taxes, or should you be hiring a professional?
All right. So, good question, Luke. I guess the short answer is this: it depends. All right.
Yeah.
And what I say it depends. I know that's a little bit of a I don't want to say a flippant answer, but it really does. Finance in general is very situational, right? So, depending on what your tax situation is, it could be very easy to do, or it could be quite complex. Now, the goal, seriously, is to move to the complex side of it. All right. So, example, basic situation. You have a paycheck. You have a savings account, and you take the standard deduction. All right. So again, a little review from last time. Standard deduction is how much money the government says you can deduct from your gross income automatically. All right. And the other option was itemized deductions. And there's a list of those. And if those added up to be more than your standard deduction, you would take the itemized. But let's just say, normal, everyday, person, paycheck, savings account, standard deduction. All right. You can do that tax return in 5 minutes. All right. It's that simple. And that somebody shows you how to do it one time, then it's the same the rest of the time. But here's the problem. The problem with doing that is then you're paying the most amount of taxes that you can possibly pay, all right, for that situation. The goal is to move towards where you're taking full advantage of what the federal tax code says that you can do. And that's where that tax professional comes in, right? So depending on, and then there's the middle situation, right? Where you have some other stuff in there, but it's not real complex. And that a person can normally do themselves also, but you really, it makes almost no sense not to contact a tax accountant and say, hey, here's my situation. What can I do, right? What are my options out there? What should be the things that I am trying to do in my future for my taxes? And the reason that is if you look at it, a lot of times, if you look at it right away, like right in the moment, it's too late, right? And that, it's like, and that's not always the case in that, but a lot of times, so let's say it's April 1st, right? And, the deadline's coming up and you're like, oh, what can I do? What can I do to lower my taxes? Well, there's probably some things that you could do still, okay? Like put some more money in your 401k, or maybe some things like that, contribute to your IRA, that kind of stuff. But the big stuff, the stuff that can really move the pendulum, that takes some planning to do.
And, the other side to that is probably always good to have somebody else take a look at. So even if you've, submitted it, maybe to have somebody just kind of look over it just to make sure you have everything. And as you were talking about, you hope to get into that more complex area. I would imagine with investments and things like that, you're getting into some complexity where, you probably want somebody to make sure, all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, that kind of stuff.
Well, absolutely. And so, like, I was in tax accounting for a short period of time in Pittsburgh, and now, even now, I have somebody do my taxes, right? But I also check those taxes too to make sure that not only did I not miss anything, did they not miss something, but the thing is when you can get into the more complex taxes, another benefit is now that tax accountant becomes tax deductible, and you can take a deduction on your taxes for the very act of getting your taxes done. So the goal is to get to that point, really, because if you're getting to that point where you can take that tax deduction and other tax deductions, to limit the amount of money that you're paying to the federal government. And not that again, I'm no conspiracy theorist or anything, but if I came up to you, Luke, and I said, hey, how's about you give me 10% of your income for the year, and I'll stick it into my savings account, and I'll give it back to you at the end of the year, but I'm going to keep the interest. Are you up? Are you taking that deal?
No, I do have $5 in my wallet, which is about.
Yeah. So even if you look at the tax brackets, even 10% of your income, man, that's a chunk of change.
Yeah.
If you're making 10 or 100,000, that's 10 grand. That you're given to the federal government when there's ways that you don't have to do that. And that's the stuff, right? You go to the tax accountant and you say, hey, here's my life, right? Here's what I do. I own a house, I have a car, I've got a compact tractor, whatever, right? You lay your life out and you ask them, you say, hey, what can I do with the things that I already do to manage my taxes? Because there's a lot of things that we buy every day that we can't take a tax deduction for unless we do some tax planning for it, right? So like example, let's say, I'll give you something in my life. There was a time when I wanted to buy a backhoe, right? And that we have a little bit of land, and I wanted something big to help manage this land, and I knew it was going to be a pretty big expenditure. So I went to my tax accountant and I said, hey, what can I do to be able to get a write-off for this backhoe that I want to buy? And instead of just buying the backhoe and having it there and not being able to take a tax deduction for it, right? So the tax accountant and I sat down, and the tax accountant said, all right, here's your plan, right? Here's what you want to do to be able to legally do this. And I said, well, I think that's a good plan. Let's do that. So just like the purchase of a home, as we talked about a little bit back in the last time, That used to be a thing that almost always put you into itemized deductions because of all the deductions that you got along with it. But ever since the standard deduction got raised up, we said that is much more difficult now to get into itemized deductions, especially for a married couple. But let's say I have that house. There are businesses that you can open and use your house as part of that business, which now creates a deduction for that house through the business and has absolutely nothing to do with itemized deductions. And so that's where those tax professionals come in and can really, really, help you out a lot.
And I think that's a percentage, right? Like a certain percentage of your home is used for business.
Correct.
Okay. Let's do this real quick.
To that, and I'm not going. We don't have time to get into all the rules for that, but that's what that tax professional is for.
You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Gary Glunt with us here this morning, a financial guru. Gary, I want to ask you, let's say you take your taxes to somebody after having spent years doing them yourself, and they say, oh, look at all this stuff you're not taking advantage of, and you go, boy, this has been great. Is it too late to revisit previous year taxes to have a tax professional take a look at those?
And so the answer is no. I don't remember exactly how far back you can go. I know you can at least revisit 1 year. Luke, do you happen to know how many years back that you can actually look? I want to say it's 3.
Yeah, I was going to say it's at least a couple, but I'm not sure the exact number.
Yes, and I know people who've done that. So, like, here's an example, and that was talking to a group of younger taxpayers the other day, and one of the taxpayers the year before didn't file their taxes because they didn't owe any money, but they didn't realize that they should have got money back, right? The government's sitting there, and they're sitting on their, I think it was like $200. That's $200 that you can now turn into something, right? So, the young man went back to the tax person and said, "Hey, what can we do?" Well, they filed an amended return for last year, and he'll get the $200 back. So that and why not again? Again, most tax accountants and don't hit them in the rough season, right? So the tax accountant rough season is basically January 1st to actually late April, going into May, and that because some companies do not run on what we call a calendar year; they run on what's called a fiscal year, which means that they file their taxes at different time periods during the year, and that and businesses have the ability to choose when they want to file those taxes. So they're booked. The tax accountant that I go to, who's fantastic, but she's crushed. She's got there's just tax return upon tax return upon tax return. So hit them in the off season, hit them in that summertime, hit them in the early fall, and it's a lot easier for them to help us out. And not to mention us being a little bit kinder to them than trying to do it right at the tax time.
Right, and expecting like a lot here. I'm only giving you a day to get this done, but it better be accurate.
Exactly, and they're human too. They make boo-boos, you want to look at it. But again, when I look at finances and I look at the draws on people's money, like here's a situation where everybody just thinks of taxes and they go, "Oh man, that's awful," and it is. No one wants to pay them, but my God, if you learn how and what you can do, you can really save yourself a lot of money.
Real quick, we kind of talked about this last time, but I just want people to kind of understand. Mm-hmm. You could have as little as what? to start investing?
So to start investing, there's, I mean, so investing is a buzzword that encompasses a lot of things, right? And how you say it. So if you talk just putting your money into something that gets interest, you can start that with $25, right? You can get into a savings account. You can get into money markets. You can get into CDs. I think CDs are $100 minimum to get into. Money markets, I've seen everywhere from say $50 to $2,500, depending on the money market. Now, if you want to talk stocks and things like that, if you're a risk person that wants to take a lot of risk, then you can buy penny stocks. And a penny stock is any stock that is under $5. But investing in one company, is a very high risk maneuver. You better be using money that you don't care that you lose, right? If you're talking mutual funds, which I'm a huge fan of mutual funds, you can get into them for as little as $100. Mutual funds to me are, one of the best things ever developed for the working man, because of the fact that it doesn't take a lot to get in, and you create the power of numbers with having a lot of people being able to pool their money to invest into something they can make good money.
We'll have to get into that a little bit more next time. Before we wrap things up, Gary, give us a quick update on what's going on at Black Ash Sportsman's Club.
Oh, awesome. Actually, a lot. So next Saturday, and this is just a thing that it's not for the public, but we're having our wrap up of our Winter Skeet League banquet, which is an absolutely fun day. And if there's anybody out there who likes to shoot skeet, our Winter Skeet program is different than most, and it is really it's a league that anybody can shoot and anybody can win their own divisions. So that's there, and youth programs coming up. Keep your eye out. And another one that we're looking at trying to get done, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get done probably in the September, November range, is we're going to do a glow-in-the-dark night shoot.
Ooh.
Needless to say, there's a lot of people seem to be pretty excited about that. It just looks all kind of fun to me. Yeah, so, but a lot of good things going on out at Black Ash, Luke. And for the $25 membership fee, I don't think you can beat the deal.
And they can, stop out, or how do they get that membership?
Yes, so you can go online to blackashsportsmans.org. You can go to the clubhouse, which is way back the lane. So there's a real long lane to the clubhouse, and there's a screened-in area, actually an enclosed area, and we have membership applications out there and a drop box that you can drop the membership application into right at the clubhouse. So those are the two easiest ways. Go online, download the app, print it out, send it in, or drop it off at the clubhouse, or go to the clubhouse and pick up a membership application and drop it off there.
Perfect. Gary, great catching up with you.
Same here, Luke, and I look forward to our next time.
Sounds good. See you in a couple of weeks.
All right, take care.
Yep. That's Gary Glunt joining us here this morning, and we thank you for being with us on this Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for the morning drill. Have a great Monday, everybody.
Staring at a maple leaf, leaning on the mother tree, I said to myself, we all lost touch. Your favorite fruit is chocolate-covered cherries and seedless watermelon. Oh, nothing from the ground is good enough. Body rise, look what's over me. Oh, chariot, your golden waves are walking down Remember seeing moons revert, rings made mirrors of the earth. The sun was just yellow energy. There is a living promised land.